Good morning, welcome to a morning outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 21st of July. Okay, so it's end of school for a lot of children today. Maybe this is the bit where it goes quiet. Well, it's been a bit of a choppy-ish market, although things are starting to play out a little bit. So anyway, before we look at the technicals, what we've got on the risk events here, well, we've had retail sales come out for the UK already. Barely moved the market in real terms, up 0.7 versus 0.2, so at least something positive coming out there. Canadian data coming out later, again retail sales at 130, so just be aware if you're trading the Canadian dollar. Later, okay, there's nothing more until next week, of course, and then we start off on Monday with the flash services and manufacturing data. We go to Wednesday with the Fed meeting. We go to Thursday with the ECB meeting. Can you imagine how choppy it might be next week earlier on? Anyway, there you go. That's the early part of next week. And looking at next week, right, let's move this away and look at the markets themselves. Starting it off looking at the euro dollar now. I was a bit wary of the downside on this yesterday because it had such a strong upward movement, but it looks like it's starting to fail. It's starting to fail here at the moment. We've seen this lower high confirmed, and it's certainly looking softer. And you look at it on an hourly basis, and well, there's this big bear flag sitting there at the moment. Now it hasn't hit the daily pivot, and the probability sits there around about 75-80%, so I've got that in the back of my mind. However, if it starts breaking down quite well this morning and into today, we could see us running down towards that S1. That would certainly be the shape of the flag working. It's whether it will work this morning. Now the pound, we've just seen the good retail data coming out of it. Again, selling off on the dailies here. A few days down the row, lower highs coming through confirmed here. Probably a better divergence over these lows, but it's really a question of whether it will actually turn back here and roll over. At the moment, with that sort of those retail sales numbers giving it a little bit of a spring, but hardly a major one. We'll see what happens this morning, but again, this to me, if it starts turning over, breaking the trend line, is triggering the short side. US dollar, yen. I was looking at this yesterday and waiting to see if it broke the quarterly pivot, which it's done now. It's come back and tested that area. A break above the highs there would signify a continuation, really. I was looking really at the break there, but it's such a risky, it's a break and retest job that you always want to see here. So it's a case of it starts breaking above 140 again, 140.50, then it's for me it's on the buy side. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar's tripped up a little bit here yesterday. It couldn't really hold on to its gains in the afternoon. Largely sold off in the afternoon, but it's made for a right messy shorter term chart here, but well, not necessarily the cleanest when we look through what's actually there. Hit into the pivot maybe for a short, but not looking the best. US dollar CAD. Well, CAD's been holding in there, but didn't end up yesterday too well. The dollar pushing its way back up there, but in fact we've probably got bull flags sitting here. We have to against a sort of a decent trend that had been running down. So bullish flag ish. Certainly sitting there. Now if we see them all moving, if we see dollar strength coming through this market, well maybe this is another one that could play to the upside. I much more prefer the euro and the pound because they're already in a trend. This is sort of bucking a trend, changing a trend. New Zealand dollar, a bit like the Aussie, really a bit more messy. It's just come down. I'll go up the time frames first. Daily wise selling at the moment, not really doing it didn't have the same skip yesterday. It did break down eventually on the trend line there. That was drawn on. It's where did I draw on that trend line? I've obviously done it on here, looking at it. So yeah, there you go. I popped it on here on the 60-minute, and you can see it sold off afternoon wise. We actually finally got some movement there. Let's put that back to 4 hourly, otherwise I'll confuse myself. Okay, so that was that movement. At the moment, it's quite like the Aussie dollar at the moment, and not so clean. US dollar Swissy, for those that are trading that, it did get its bounce yesterday. Look at that. I said that at some stage it will do, but I was never going to be trying to be first into this. Now this might continue, but again, remember, this is going against the original trend here. Well, at least with the euro and the pound, we had some movement already in the direction this is going in, or they were going in. This has gone counter at the moment, but it's a short-term sort of flaggy pattern, and it looks quite clean from that perspective. We'll see what develops there. As I say, it's out of favour with the big money, but it's had continued pushing down here. The way it's consolidating around here, I wouldn't have been surprised if it had continued to the downside there. Okay, euro yen, looking at some of the major pairings here. Euro yen not really doing too much. It's a bit choppy-ish looking. Horrible day yesterday. Bit choppy looking today, so steer clear of there. The usual suspects is the euro CAD. Well, you can see the bear flag on this. It's just come up the time frames. You've had 3 days down, so it's a bit more into a move. And you can see the bear flag running through the time frames again. This might come off this morning. Again, hasn't hit the pivot, but might just run down towards the S1 at some stage. Does look quite nice there. Okay, pound Aussie is not really so interested in that because it's too bitty on the Aussie side of things. Pound CAD, again, it's the same as pound dollar really. You just got to decide on which one you feels it's got the better pattern against. This happens a lot if you get a currency that's running weak. It's just looking at the right pair for it. Which is the strongest pair, is the dollar or the CAD, and you've just got to weigh things up here. But again, looking a clean-ish movement. It's had its little spike there from the news. It's whether it can hold on. If it can't hold on and starts breaking over, well, again, S1 all day long, he says. Maybe. Anyway, it could be on for more downside there. Right, that's pretty much it. So there are a few patterns to be had there this morning on the currencies. Let's just switch markets, have a look at gold. So looking at gold first, and upper time. So that's again just run out a bit of steam yesterday, but hardly completely negative here. So I wouldn't be looking. If there's short opportunities, there's better short opportunities. Again, this has been an upward trend. Yes, it might sell off like everything else. It's quite ugly down onto its hourly basis, though. Yeah, I would be more likely to steer clear of this and look for the short somewhere else, or the long somewhere else. And it's certainly not a market that I would be looking for here. Looking at crude's been a bit up and down, and it's from a daily picture you can see it's starting to form this sort of wedge here now. It's got a bit ugly again. We saw the move up yesterday afternoon, started pushing up there, just couldn't hold on to its gains and rolled, and we saw the dollar strength, and it took out the lows there, and as I say, it's got a bit messy. Since then it's pushed up again. We'll see what this is doing this afternoon, but I'm still, in the bigger picture, still looking on the more bullish side of things. Okay, the indices, for those that are trading the indices, the CSI 300, still bearish. no change there. The Nikkei, as expected, a bit of a continuation to the downside here, just looking at a little bit softer, sort of bear flaggy sort of pattern kicking through there. The Nifty 50, even that's taken a bit of a hit today. Yesterday it ended up on a huge huge push down yesterday, relative reasonable push. Off today though at the moment, so looking a bit on the softer side. The Aussie 200 again reacted yesterday, and it's had its reaction, although pulled back a little bit to close, but it's not the clearest. Probably best left. Those that are clearer are things like the S&Ps. Now we had a bit of again sell-off yesterday, stronger US dollar coming through there, but this morning pushing back up again. Ball flag and this sort of picture may be come into play later on this 4-hourly. So looking more positive still, as is the Dow. Dow certainly, it came off a little bit yesterday, but it's solid. So running through a solid old period here. Nasdaq, well, short-term bear flag. If you was to come down the time frames here, there's this little short-term bear flag, but do I really want to go against this bigger picture? Well, tech stocks aren't having it all their own way, and maybe it has got a bit more correction, but I'd rather trade it when it's corrected to the long side at the moment anyway. And the DAX, it's a pig's ear of trading. I just gone horrible. The FTSE, much more positive sitting here, seeing a bit more positivity as a continuation from the slightly slower inflation. Retail sales may help it this morning, but can't get ahead of ourselves too much. But it has broken that original trend now and looking a bit more positive. Okay, finally finishing up for those that follow the crypto world out there. Just look at Bitcoin, same old consolidation. Same right away across the board here. Of the majors I look at, Chainlink, just Chainlink. Oh, I got a bit of a push yesterday. Certainly got aided, a bit more solid yesterday. Well, it was doing the same old as everything else, but has got a bit of a surge yesterday. Ripple still not really recovering too much. There's obviously something about Chainlink which I haven't seen, but looking more positive there. Okay, so the majority of them looking quite flattish. Chainlink may be worth an investigation, see what it's doing, but if it's like Ripple here, Ripple got the news, pushed up there and then just consolidated, we could see the same with Chainlink as well. So don't get ahead of ourselves. Right, on that note, wish you a great day, a great Friday, and I'll catch you next week. Bye for now.